I'm going to ask you this, Holsum one.
Yes, sir.
How often, getting back to the field, how often do you find yourself watching? Usually, I would think it would be a non-Miami game, or even if it's a Miami game, but it's coming from the opponent, where you see a play or you see a concept from another team and you think, why don't we do that?
Mark, listen. Woo! Every Saturday. Every Saturday. I tell you what, Mark, when I was just a fan, it was, you could see it a lot more. You go, why don't we call that play? Why don't we do spread RPO, But here's the thing, Mark.
You probably did it all the time when Enos and Richt were running the show.
Oh, God, man. Jeez. The fact, Mark, listen, I tell this story all the time, Mark. Do you know how far back we were offensively? In 2019, the spring game at Trash Powell Stadium, which is the Mecca, the crowd started cheering when Will Mallory got out of his stance and motioned to the other side. Motion. It's just like when Georgia Tech, when they finally got their head coach and they got rid of the super army crap thing going on that they had going for a while there.
For a long time.
They came out in the triple option, and then they motioned to a spread, and then their crowd goes nuts too. Okay, you should not be able to say that about our programs.
So not to interrupt someone, I would like to go back and look at that. So Georgia Tech did that the first week of Jeff Collins being the head coach after Paul Johnson. They did that the first play of the game. In the spring game.
The first play of, I think it was either a scrimmage, whatever. The crowd was there, so they just went. Okay. They did it on purpose to come out and that look, and you can kind of I saw it on Twitter, so this is how I know. So the guy is filming it, and of course it was planned by the staff to do this. So they pander to the crowd or whatever. You see people and then they the quarterback flares his arms and everybody motions out to the spread, and they're like, yeah, and they just went nuts in the crowd for them moving to the spread. So it's you watch so many concepts, but Mark, it really gets down to the fact of this. Jimmy's and Joe's is a big part of it, man. It really is, because let's say Paul Johnson, in that triple option, right? Let's say he had the number 1, number 2, and number 3 running back in the country. And let's say he had the best offensive line in the country, the best scramble QB. He said he had Lamar Jackson as his QB. He'll look amazing because he has the best players running his scheme. But he had 2 and 3 stars and maybe an occasional 4-star who's from Atlanta who wants to stay to the crib. Okay. That's when they'll be able to get him. But the X's and O's is one thing, and trust me, I'm all in for it. But it has to be a balance. It's a marriage between the two. Being able to have a really good scheme that's modern and up to date, but you also need to have some of the best players to help fix and work that scheme. Because, I mean, if you're out there I could run the Oregon spread, which is something all of us who played the game growing up would run the Chip Kelly offense with the Miami Hurricanes players, and it was real fun. Before that, a lot of players would always, even former Miami Hurricanes players who played NCAA on the PS2 would always say, yeah, we ran the Florida offense because it was the run and shoot, whatever, Spurrier, spread, shotgun type scheme, and then it would use the Miami Hurricanes players in that. So it's really about having the players and the scheme work together. Because if I have an elite scheme, but I have really bad players or above average players, I won't look that good either. So it kind of works both ways.
If Alabama wasn't game 1, if game 1 was a game that was most likely a win, your typical season opener. Let's say you were playing App State in week 1, and not that you could look past them, but you were fairly confident you're going to win this game. So it was more about not just, okay, I'm psyched up for a big game, but more about I really want to evaluate some guys here and really look at this. What players are you just fit to be tied, can't wait on the edge of your seat, you can't wait to see on the field and see what they can do?
Ha 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 ha. How about this? We'll ask the chat who do they think I'm gonna say. Because I think that they always feel like I'm gonna go to this one player. Yes, I gave him a nickname. I get that. And the second player also played the same position as I. And he doesn't wear gloves. He always wears tapes on his fingers. Somebody I really like too. But let's see what the chat thinks I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Oh wow, Cheryl. She is going in on the Miami Hurricanes fan base. She says we lack a lot of knowledge. Jeez. That's tough. She must be an Ohio girl.
Cheryl's my moderator. Cheryl's here all the time, so it's tough for me to say Cheryl does anything wrong.
You see the chat?
Where are we? Okay, let's get to it here.
I knew they were gonna go there because I always.
Well, yeah, I thought Nesta was there. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody always. Yeah, I'm a big Nesta Silvera fan. I really love the way he plays. Oh God, jeez, man. I don't want to be a hater, Mark. I'm not going to say anything about Mr. Rambo. Now you have one good game, and people just anyhow. I've seen Nesta Silvera. I've seen Light Skin Warrior Bubba Bolden do very well. I've seen both of them. But I wouldn't say like itching, but something has to shake for a guy like Mark Pope, man. Like something has to give. He had that one drop in the bowl game, and everybody not the bowl game, excuse me. He had plenty of drops in the bowl game. He had that drop in the spring game and then went on to have 8 catches for 150 some odd yards, but everybody wants to talk about Rambo or a walk-on wide receiver, you know? I'm kind of hands in the air when it comes to D. Wiggins. I've kind of it is what it is with that dude. But with Pope, man, I think I'm excited to see, number one, if he's going to still be on our roster. Because the transfer conversation has been up, and rumors have been up with Pope. So we'll see with that. But I'm actually excited to see Nevon Donaldson. If I had to pick somebody that I'm like, you know what? I want to turn on that so-and-so versus Alabama, and I'm expecting to see a good result. I'm going to say the Big 55 because it's no more years of eligibility. It's no more change. This is it. This is your chance. And a lot of folks don't understand, but, man, when you got film versus Alabama, it used to just be like when NFL scouts would turn on the Miami and Tallahassee game of the late 90s. Well, the whole time, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, what did you do versus Miami? Or what did you do versus Tallahassee? That was a big conversation that a lot of NFL scouts would ask. And now you have a blessed opportunity where you're playing Alabama in a regular season game, an opener, where they're still trying to figure things out. You're still trying to figure things out. Okay? You got an opportunity now to put yourself on a stage because this 3 technique or 4-eye technique and inside linebacker are all NFL guys. This nose guard that I got to help gain and move, that's an NFL guy. All right? So you have a chance as a guard to show them that you're a draftable player and that you won't be a standout or a sore thumb or a weak link on an NFL offensive line if you can line up and give us some really good film versus Alabama. That's where I'm looking at with Nevon Donaldson on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, somebody I'm very excited to see is going to be Tyreek Stevenson in our uniform. I'm excited to see what he's going to do because yet again, there's a couple people who I feel like won't fear or have any. The butterflies, of course, because you're playing an opener game in one of the first full capacity games in over a year. So the energy is gonna be wild. People are gonna be jumping up and down. So you'll have your initial butterflies. But as far as fear within their heart to be playing against Bama, there's only a couple on that defensive side of the ball. I'm confident won't have that problem. And Tyreek Stevens, someone who's played against him, just like Jakari Rambo. He's played against them. At Oklahoma. So, and he's been in big games at OU. So that doesn't fear, playing big time Alabama doesn't scare them. Oh, the Crimson Tide. It doesn't scare them, Tyreek Stevenson, it won't scare him either. So I'm excited to see their impact on the game because a corner can't win you a game, but bad cornerback play can absolutely lose you a game. So we'll see in that aspect, but I'm very excited to see Navon Donaldson, and I'm very excited to see Tyreek Stevenson versus Alabama.